The Jeep Grand Wagoneer is here and here to stay. Jeep is not messing around with this 2024 edition, trying to put it up against things like Mercedes or BMW, competing in that luxury SUV segment. Today, we're going to be looking at whether or not they succeeded or if it should compete with something more along the lines of a standard Ford or Chevy. My name is Jason, and you're watching Got an X. Now, the first thing we're going to look at is, of course, going to be the front of the Grand Wagoneer. And what else can I say besides it is grand? I mean, this is a very pronounced front with silver accents throughout, making it shine a lot more and looking a lot more aggressive than some of the other SUVs. And I think that really works. This is an imposing vehicle. It is big. It is heavy. This thing is massive. And the front really doesn't do a bad job at displaying that at all. I mean, it is fantastic looking up here completely through in and throughout. And I am just overall a fan. Now, the engine in this is a little bit different than what I'd expect. I feel like I was expecting a V8 engine in this, something big, something powerful, but we did get something big, we did get something powerful, but it's just not a V8. This is the Hurricane engine. This is a 3-liter inline-six engine that creates 510 horsepower and 500 pound-feet of torque paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and it really is a smooth and great driving experience. I don't think there is anything to complain about the engine in here. I know some people may look at it and be like, well, it's not a V8. Is it going to be powerful enough? But this thing carries enough power to get you through whatever you need to do. I really do like this engine, and I think it is a great option. And it also comes standard across all trim levels of this, so it doesn't mean you have to get the higher trim level to get something this good. You can get whatever version of the Grand Wagoneer you want. Now, onto the side, there isn't too much to talk about, but I do want to talk about some of the great silver accents spread through the side here. You have the silver throughout all the windows, you have your silver rims, you have the Grand Wagoneer religion right here, as well as you have a little American flag, which is just aggressively patriotic, and I kind of love it. I don't know, I think it's just a great little touch, as well as you have automatic side steps that open when you open the door, being a fantastic option, as well as this SUV has air suspension that you can kind of see here. You can get a little bit higher elevation, giving you a little bit more freedom when going off-road. Overall, the side profile is fantastic. Let's move on to the back. Now, the back of the Grand Wagoneer isn't anything special. You do have those silver accents that we were talking about throughout the car that do give it a little bit of texturing and I think makes it look nice. But overall, we're back here to talk about the storage space. Now, this is an automatic opening trunk, which is very nice, especially for those heavy days where you're trying to quickly have a bunch of groceries and tap it and throw stuff in. But that's when we talk about the cargo space, and in here it is ridiculously small. I mean, it is fitted out right now. You can lower the back seats and have about 94 cubic feet, but if you don't do that, then you are left with a measly just over 27 cubic feet in here, and I really think that's disappointing. That's just something you need to look out for. If you're only going to be carrying 5 people, I mean, you just will have an exuberant amount of storage space if you put these back seats down. But overall, it's not completely perfect back here, and that's something that you might need to look into if you are trying to get this car to do road trips. The interior of the Grand Wagoneer is incredibly nice. First thing I want to touch on is the wood accents that is offset by the leather, giving you a nice two-tone interior, which is really pretty. I think it really does just stand out. And compared to some of the other luxury brands that you see, like BMW, it is just on par or even better if you really do consider it. I mean, Jeep has done a lot of improvements. The steering wheel is nice. There are features through and throughout. The seats are incredibly comfy as well. They also have a bunch of unique and nice features. I mean, this is heated, cooled, and massaging seats with a bunch of ways to fix and rearrange it. There's a whole screen on the bottom right here that is solely for controlling your seats. I mean, that is just really nice in my personal opinion. I think that is a great addition. On top of that, throughout the interior, there is a bunch of great things. This infotainment screen is going to be the biggest thing I want to talk about, though, because Jeep has kind of been a brand that is known for subpar infotainment screens. I mean, in probably their best-selling, most iconic car, the Wrangler, there was so much packed into that screen with so little accessibility. It was very laggy, it wasn't up to date, it wasn't as nice. But this one, the Grand Wagoneer in 2024, is fantastic. I mean, this screen is so responsive. It is big. It has as much as you need, and they still have outside controls, giving you the perfect mix of inside and out of the infotainment screen to satisfy your needs in this car. On top of that, your passenger also gets their own little infotainment screen that you can actually connect an HDMI through. So if you can find a way to power something like a PlayStation or Xbox, you can have someone in the passenger seat playing whatever game they like. And overall, the interior of the Jeep is really good. I think it is drastic improvements from the Wrangler that I've been in, because I don't know if this changed in 2022 for this one, but the 2024 model is really fantastic. I mean, everything through in and throughout is just really solid and good, and overall I think the inside is great. But now we can talk about the back seat, because they're important passengers too. Now, the back of this car is pretty freaking solid too. I'm not trying to be too aggressive with that, but I mean, I am a very tall person. I mean, you look at me next to this car, I am towering still, but I am back here with complete and perfect headroom. I literally have to force myself to sit up and slam my head in the roof if I really want to make a point. Ooh, the headroom's bad. If you are anything under, I don't know, like 6'3" or 6'4", you're never gonna have a problem. I'm not having a problem, and I'm taller than that. I won't reveal the height though. But moving on, you have your own climate control down here. It's very nice. You also have very comfy seats, the same seats that you have in front. And in the back seat in particular, the third row, it's also just as good, but you have access and control over your own specific sunroof, which, you know, you have the climate controls for up here, you have the sunroof for back there, it's the trade-off. But all of your passengers in this will be unbelievably comfortable and not upset to be in this, no matter how long or treacherous your drive is. Now, driving the Jeep Grand Wagoneer is definitely going to be a good experience overall. I mean, the acceleration is fantastic. The powertrain really does a great job of making this feel like a not sluggish but nice vehicle. I mean, you can definitely tell it's big, but it's not a slow, sluggish big that sometimes bigger cars fall into. I really do think that the powertrain in this makes it a great driving experience. I mean, just accelerating, you can go back in your seat a little bit. It feels good. There's just a lot of pros, but the one biggest con for the Jeep overall, I'm actually going to bring up, is part of the driving, and it's the maneuverability. I mean, this thing is so gigantic. Getting it in tight spaces or moving it through like crowded parking lots and things like that can become a stressful experience just because it's very, very hard to move around. I mean, sometimes you'll be taking a turn that should be a 3-point turn, maybe 4-point turn at the most, and it feels like it takes 17 or 18. I mean, this is such a massive vehicle, but I know I'm over exaggerating a little bit, but that is probably the one big learning curve. If you can get over that, I think it's a very solid driving experience, but it's just a little claustrophobic at times. And that's pretty much it for the Grand Wagoneer. I really do think it is a great option. I think it set out to do what it wanted to do and compete with the luxury SUVs, and it does a great job. I really do like the inside. I like all of the features, but the one thing I will warn about, and I'm just gonna reiterate, is going to be the driving of this vehicle. This is massive and it feels massive. I mean, it is definitely clunky and tighter spaces, and if you are not good at navigating and you don't want to get used to it, I don't think you'll enjoy it. But other than that, I mean, this thing is fantastic, and it is a perfect car to take a lot of people with you. You get 8 seats, and every seat will be filled happily if you have the opportunity. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below about the Grand Wagoneer, if you think that this is a great option, because I do. And if you liked the video, please leave a like, and we will see you in the next one.